Hi Andy, just a quick recap on the session that we did over at the range on Thursday. First of all, when we look at your setup position, the first change I'd like to make is I'd like to get your toes turned out a little bit more than what we see here. We tend to get the toes working in, which as a result gets the knees a little bit knocked in also. From that sort of setup position, what we're going to generally find is that the upper centre drops back, so we get a little bit too much tilt away from the golf ball at setup, and then during the backswing, even though we stay centred by moving this hip forward. So what I'd like to see you do is get a little bit more turned out with your toes, feel like you're going to flex your knees out, and then during the backswing you've got to imagine that you're doing the high jump. Remember when we talked about the Frosby flop and the way you move back? You've got to almost feel if there was a high jump bar here, you'd be jumping over that. That's going to encourage your hips to move this way whilst keeping your upper centre over the ball. So even though we're stacked over the ball, it's a little bit of a false position because what we've done is we've moved the hips forward. We can see that the hips tend to get very level during the backswing. Ideally, if we're doing this properly, we'd like to see the right hip a little bit higher than the left, which is going to continue or allow the shoulders to continue to turn on a tilted plane. And the key thing with yourself, Andy, if we had a little bit more left tilt at the top of the backswing or a little bit more extension at the top of your backswing, what we'd also start to see is a freer arm movement. So freeing up the hips frees up the shoulders, which frees up the left arm, which will give us a little bit more length at the top of the backswing. So we're looking to be tilted a little bit more straight up and down as opposed to away from the target like we see here. Having said that, there's a lot of good things in there also. The arms are working in nicely, arms and shoulders matching up, super blade position at the top, keeping the arms on the inside, hitting out at the ball much better than you used to. I mean, you've come a long way there in your golf over the past 2 years, but overall basic movement needs a little bit of attention. Get the feet turned out, get working on the grid. You know the drill that you've got to do to provide you with the shot pattern that you want, but overall just a little bit of work on your basic movement. Well done. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.